Hello, this is Richard Law with the Society of Field Inspectors. It's Wednesday, February 8th, 2012. And I received an email last week from an inspector, and he said, "Hey, Rich, tell us a little bit about some of the questions. Tell us a little bit about some of the questions we should ask when we talk to a company for the first time, and what information should we get?" Okay. And what you'll find is you need to address things in a certain order. The order I always like to start out with is fees. You know, what kind of fees are you offering? And if I make that the first question and they hesitate and don't answer it and keep putting me off, I probably know right then and there that the fees are pretty low, and I probably don't want to spend a lot of time, talking to the company. So you want to get to fees, maybe not the first question, but not more than 3 questions down, and ask what the fees are. The next question you want to ask is volume. How much volume are you going to get? How many inspections per week or per month? And again, the firm should have some, approximate answers. They're not going to give you very specifics, but they ought to be able to ballpark it a little bit and give you some idea, again, on volume. And again, if they can't talk about volume, they probably don't need you right away. And again, you don't want to spend too much time with them at this point. Turnaround times. What kind of times do they expect to give you to do the inspection? And some of the companies can give you a lot of inspections, but they also give you a short turnaround time. And that's the case for mortgage inspections, these drive-by inspections. They might give you 500 inspections to do in a week, and they're all in 1 week. In other words, you get them, maybe on the 18th of the month, and they're due back on the 25th of the month, because that's the time frame for most mortgage inspections. So doing 500 of those in a 7-day period, it could be tough. And if you get a little bad weather in there, a little bit of snow on the ground, a little bit of ice on the roads, it gets a little harder to achieve. Service areas, okay? Don't say too much about your service area up front, because what you want to find out is what kind of inspections you're going to get, what the volume is, and how much they pay. Now, if the fees are low, you're going to want to stay very close to home. If the fees are a little bit higher, you can go a little further out. And if the fees are super good, then you can go much further out. So make sure you understand what the fees are again up front before you advertise the area you cover. If you were, say, in Philadelphia, I would just say, covering the Philadelphia area. And then after you determine what the fees are, you can determine how big that Philadelphia area is. Philadelphia may extend to Pittsburgh, if the fees are super large. So don't say too much about your service areas in your resume or in your conversations until you get to specifics like fees, volume, turnaround. Photos. Let me go back. Multiple attempts. Sometimes they'll want you to do 3 attempts for 1 fee, and that's not good. You should probably not accept those. Every time you go out and travel to do an inspection, go to a property, there should be a fee, 1 fee for each attempt, and not 1 fee for 3 attempts. Photos. Almost all inspections today require photos. It seems like the firms don't trust inspectors anymore, and the only way that they can trust you is if you give them some photos of the property that you've gone to. Some of these photos can be very extensive. For a $3 or $4 drive-by inspection, sometimes they want as many as 7 photos. Photos of the house, all 4 sides. They'll want photos of the address. Sometimes even photos of a street sign on the nearest corner. And so photos can become very excessive, so make sure you always ask about photos and make sure what the numbers are that are required. Date stamps, ask about date stamps. Sometimes they want the photographs stamped with a date. Most cameras have that, so that's usually not a problem. If yours doesn't, you can also put all your photos in a folder and date stamp them all at one time using some free software available on the internet. So date stamps not a problem, but make sure you ask if they require that. Chargebacks. Chargebacks is pretty much something that's specific to the mortgage industry. You don't see too much about chargebacks with insurance inspections or mortgage inspections, but ask about them. There's one company out there that is very well known for if you're a day late on a $3 inspection, they'll charge you a $60 chargeback as a penalty. So ask about chargebacks, and like I say, most of the better companies don't deal with chargebacks. It's kind of like an unfair penalty in a lot of ways. My feeling is if a company doesn't like your work, they should fire you, okay, and not try to make more money on you by charging penalties against you. Report processing. Find out how you file these reports. Do you go up to a website and poke in data online? Some of these companies want you to go out and buy an Android phone and get Android telephone service and do all your reporting on a telephone. And again, you got to look at the cost of the phone, the cost of probably a 2-year service plan, and then the cost of the data package that goes with it. So if you're not getting the right fees and the right volume, you may not want to go that route. And again, with all these inspections, there's no warranties, there's no guarantees. You could be doing 500 mortgage drive-by inspections in February and 0 in March because they found someone else that'll do it cheaper. So that's a good reason you want to be diversified. You want to be working for more than one company, and you want to be working for quality companies. Ask about pay. How are you going to get paid? Are they going to mail you a check? Are they going to give you a direct deposit? Do they have cutoff dates? Are they paying weekly, every 2 weeks, every month? Get the pay situation worked out. You need specifics on that. Background checks. Ask if there's any requirements for background checks. And who's paying for the background check? Background checks are becoming more and more popular in all industries. Companies are checking up on people. They want to see if independent contractors or employees have criminal records. They don't want to hire a criminal, so they will check that information. And the question you want to ask is, who pays for the background check? And in today's world of field services, I would say that probably 99.5% of the companies in the field service industry that do background checks, they pay for them. They don't charge anything to the inspector. And you got to be careful of a company that's got a $50 or $60 charge for a background check. You may pay that fee and never get any work. So I would stay away from companies that require you to pay a background check. I got another note here I wrote, and I don't know what it says anymore. I'm in the car. Duran's driving, so you may hear a little road noise there. I think she went over some buzz strip there for just a minute. Wake up, Duran. She's sitting over there. Okay, I don't know what that note says, but contractor agreements. Some firms, not all firms, and I guess maybe many firms today have an independent contractor agreement, which says basically what their duties are and what your duties are, and it also says that you are an independent contractor and you'll pay your own taxes and you'll get your own insurance, and they're not responsible for a lot of things. And the reason they do that is because they want to get a favorable IRS ruling that you are an independent contractor and again save some money. That's the purpose of that. So look at the independent contractor agreement, read it, kind of see who's responsible for what. Look at the length of it. My goodness, some of these things can be 15 or 20 pages, and you'd better believe they're in favor of the company and not you. So, 20 pages is a lot. I would kind of put a page limit on there someplace. I'm not sure what that number is, but too big an independent contractor agreement, it's probably best to stay away and work with the companies that have a shortened version that doesn't have a lot of legal detail in there that you can't understand. Insurance, okay? If you look at the whole industry, mortgage inspections, insurance inspections, and commercial inspections, you find that probably about 98% of the companies do not require any insurance. Some of the companies will ask you if you have insurance, but they still may not require it. The companies that require the mortgage insurance are pretty much the mortgage segment companies. It seems to work out that the companies that pay the lowest fees require the insurance, and the companies that pay the higher fees do not require the insurance. And I don't quite understand that. But, the company that wants you to do a $3 inspection will ask you to have E&O insurance, errors and omissions insurance. And the company that pays $50 for an inspection probably doesn't require any insurance. So insurance is always, kind of a problem area with mortgage inspections. Some companies, at least one company I know of, there may be more, tells you who you can buy your insurance from. In other words, they give you a list of 3 different insurance agents you need to go to get insurance to work for them. Well, that's not really a good idea. They've kind of picked your insurance company, and you want to be out there picking your own insurance agent. You want someone that is going to represent you if there's a claim, and not represent the company that's dictated, where you're going to get your insurance from. So, like I say, if you stay away from the mortgage inspections, insurance, commercial inspections, there's probably no insurance requirements. You may want to get insurance, later on. Insurance it offers protection, so it's always good. But, starting out, you don't want to invest a lot of money into a startup. So, I would kind of orientate yourself more towards the insurance and commercial inspections, and then having to fork out, $800 or $1,000 for insurance won't be a problem because there will be no insurance requirements. So that's basically just, some of the things I mentioned that you need to figure out, ask when you talk to a firm. And don't be afraid to ask, They kind of measure you when they talk to you, and if you're very timid, if you don't ask questions, if you don't find out what's going on, it means maybe they can kind of, bounce you around a little bit if they need to. They can kind of, put more requirements on you for less pay. So make sure you're firm and you ask the right questions and speak with confidence and rehearse. Sit down and write out on a piece of paper the questions you're going to ask and the order you're going to ask them in, and then go ahead and do the asking. But most companies are pretty good to deal with. I think you'll have a good relationship with firms. I think the higher quality firms are in the insurance and the commercial segment, and the lower quality firms are pretty much in the mortgage segment. But there are exceptions. There are certainly some very good firms that do mortgage inspections and pay pretty well for those. So I can't make a general statement that all mortgage inspections are bad, because some are good. And we've listed some of those companies that are good in the mortgage segment in our National Field Service Directory. And that directory is a good resource if you're looking for companies. For most inspectors, it provides about 125 or 130 options, good quality companies that you can contact and let them know that you're available to do work in your area. And we do some filtering on our list. We do not include the problem areas, the no pays, the slow pays, the low fee inspections, the check bouncers, the game players. We know about those companies. We talk to a lot of people, so we kind of know what's going on in the industry. And our goal is to give you a good directory. It's not a fat directory. It's a good directory. It lists kind of the best of the best companies out there because, we want you to have a smooth ride. We want you to have a good experience. We want to hear some success stories somewhere down the road from you. So that's basically it. I've given you a quick list of things to ask about. There's probably items that I've missed here, writing some notes in the car. But give me a call. Maybe you've got some ideas on questions that should be added to the list, or maybe you have some questions on a company, a job, an inspection, whatever, and we'd be happy to answer those for you. Our telephone number on the East Coast is 352-449-1041, and we can usually take your calls most days. On the weekends, often we're available. And if you do miss us because we're on the telephone, leave a message and we'll get back with you. So thank you, and you have a nice day. We'll talk to you later.